Hello everybody. We're gonna have a little shorter of a video today. Yeah, it's because I didn't actually learn anything about AI. Yeah, so today we're gonna be covering big O notation in a more or less formal way, hopefully. And so the reason why we're doing this and why it doesn't have anything to do with AI but it's still important is mostly because I'm a CS major, so I have to know this stuff, but also because it's a lot of fun. You know, do it for the intrinsic reason, right? So let's cover big O notation today. So big O notation. What is big O notation? This is motivated by the purpose of trying to judge how good an algorithm is. So when we judge an algorithm, we judge it primarily on two factors, which is speed and space efficiency, for lack of a better term. What does this mean? So first of all, what even is an algorithm, right? So let's take the most basic example, which is sorting like a list of numbers. So 3, 4, 2, 1, 9, 8, -5. Right, so I want an algorithm, I want some sort of steps that I can follow to get a list that looks like this to this. Right, so how do I do that? Well, there's a lot of different ways, but there's some that are faster than others, and there are some that are more efficient in space than others. You know what? We're just gonna ignore this one for now. We're just gonna focus on speed. So, for example, here's one that's not very fast. Okay, so this is what I would do. So, a not very fast way to sort this list is to look at every single one and determine the smallest in this. So I look, bam, 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 okay. -5 is the smallest, right? So then I say, okay, I'm going to take -5 out of this list and put it in the first spot, and then I'm going to look at everything else outside of that. So then I say, okay, what's the next smallest one? 3, 4, 2, 1, 9, 8. So 1's the smallest, right? So then I take 1 out of this thing and put it in the second spot, and then I have 3, 4, 2, 9, 8. And then I look again and again and again and so on, right? So this is called selection sort. And basically, it's like for every single index, I'm finding the smallest possible value that there could be, and I'm gonna grab that and put it here. So what this ensures is that you'll always have like the smallest possible value at this index. So the second index must be larger than this index, but it's still gotta be smaller than everything that goes after it. So selection sort is correct, but it's very slow because I have to do this operation on every single index, right? So I have to do this, like, how many are there? 2, 3, 4. There's 7 elements, right? So I have to do this first. To find the first one, I have to do 7 operations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to find the smallest. For the second index, I have to do 6 operations, and then 5, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1, right? So I have to do a lot of operations to do this. And you can imagine if I have a list that's like maybe 1,000,000 long, which is not unreasonable in CS. Well, okay, how many operations do I have to do then? 1,000,000 plus 999,999, so on and so forth. A lot of operations, right? So there's better ways to do this, and one of those is merge sort. Okay, merge sort is way more complex, but okay, so basically I split this list, right? And then in that split list, I split it again, and I split it again until I get to one element, and then I combine it back, and I combine it so that the list would be the same. So basically, merge sort is a slightly faster way to do this. So it's a way to do it with less operations. But I would like to find some way of evaluating these mathematically. So it was some way where I can tell exactly how much they're doing. And so I can use big O notation for this. So big O notation is basically measuring how many operations it takes to do the same thing, assuming that every single operation takes the same amount of time. Because if every operation takes the same amount of time, if you're measuring operations, you're really just measuring time, right? So in this first example, selection sort, how many operations were we doing? 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. So you might recognize this as the sum of n, so the sum of n from n equals 0 to the amount of elements in the list, right? So we can say like the total amount, right? Total amount. That's not good. That's bad as well. Okay, we'll just keep it as I. Okay, so this is the total amount. And you might also know that this equals which is equal to n squared plus. So big O notation says, okay, I have n squared over 2 plus n over 2 amount of operations. But I don't actually care about any term except for the leading one, so the term that grows the fastest. And that's because big O notation only measures how quickly your thing grows. I don't care about how many operations your algorithm takes for like 2 or 3 inputs. I only care about when the asymptotic growth, or when it goes to infinity. So basically what that means is like it's like taking limits. So I can just take away this, and then this is what? 1/2 over n squared, right? So I can throw away this coefficient as well, and then I have n squared. So selection sort is O of n squared. Now what that means is that for the amount of the input size, which is the amount of elements in this list, is going to take me, I'm going to, the amount of time it takes me to do this will grow at a rate squared, at a power rate. This is, yeah. So that's selection sort. And so merge sort is a slightly better one, O of n times log n. Which once again, you start with a very complex equation. This one is actually recursive, so the time would look like this. So t of n, if t equals 1, then it equals O of 1, constant time. If it equals anything else, it equals t of n equals 2t of n over 2 plus t of n. Yeah, I think this is correct. And so basically, there's like some mathematical way that you can do to transform this into here. Okay, so this is big O notation. I did not explain that too well, to be honest. There's a lot more stuff that I should have covered that I should have, and some stuff that I should have just skipped over. But basically, this is how we evaluate algorithms. So you can see n times log n, if we were to graph that, right, that might look something like that, right? No, that'd be the opposite. Look something like this. And then n squared might look like something like this. So what you'll notice is that even for like these values of x, like for small values of input, maybe merge sort is slower than selection sort, right? Because it takes more operations. But I don't care. I'm only looking for when n goes closer to infinity. Okay, that is big O notation. Okay, that was not actually that rigorous. But okay, I'll give you guys some more ways to explore if you want. So what you'll want to look into next is theta notation. Because big O notation is only a bound from the top, so it only bounds the function from the top. Theta notation will show you how to bound from the top and the bottom, so best case as well as worst case. I didn't even cover cases in this example. So you want to search best case, worst case, theta notation, that stuff. And then if you really want to get advanced, then you want to learn how you actually derive these how you derive how fast the algorithm is. So learning how to work from something like this and then analyze that to find its running time. Okay, thank you. And I hope you enjoyed.